What's going on, everyone? So, HoopsHype did their player rankings, just like ESPN and all these other companies did, and it kind of covered most of them. But I think the HoopsHype one is kind of interesting, right? So, getting right into it, your top four guys are SGA. They had ranked number one. Okay, he won the MVP, NBA champion. You want to say he's the best player in the world? I still think it's Nikola Jokic, but okay, fine. Nikola Jokic was number two. Giannis Antetokounmpo was number three. Luka Doncic was number four. So that four is usually the unanimous top four, right? Everyone has kind of their different configurations. ESPN had Luka at number three, Giannis at number four. You see all these different things, but those four are basically unanimously, hey, those are the best four players in all of basketball. Then number five is Anthony Edwards. You're starting to see a lot more Anthony Edwards praise, a lot more Anthony Edwards love. He's looked at, again, as like the top five guys. So, again, Anthony Edwards I don't know about the general consensus, but it's pretty close at this point. The top five players, SGA, Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, and Anthony Edwards. Then you start getting into that 6 through 10 range and then beyond. And I've talked about, right, 6 through 10, I think you could kind of make a little argument for, either way. Maybe 6 through 12, you can maybe kind of the back end guys, I think that there's a little argument for, but I think this is interesting. So number 6 is Jalen Brunson. Number 7 is Donovan Mitchell. Number 8 is Cade Cunningham. Number 9 is Victor Wembanyama. 10 is Jalen Williams. 11 is Steph Curry. 12 is Pascal Siakam. 13 is Evan Mobley. 14 is Karl Anthony Towns. 15th is Paolo Banchero. So I've gone through the top 15, and you may have noticed LeBron James isn't on the top 15, right? I think that is ridiculous, and we'll go over that here in a moment, right? But 16 was Anthony Davis. Okay. Anthony Davis, incredible. I think is still top 10 player in the league. I'd take him over most of these guys that are in the top 10, but okay. Right? Jaylen Brown, 17, Booker, 18, and then LeBron James is number 19. They have LeBron James as the 19th best player in all of basketball. Now, look, if you want to put him, 10th, top 12 or something, sure, right? But 19th, if he was like 13th or 14th, maybe even 15th, I'd still kind of feel a way about it, but not I feel like this is disrespectful. The guy was 6th in MVP voting last year, was still all NBA. The guy averaged 24 and a half points. I know he was the first season he didn't average the, 25, 8, and 8, right? But he was half a point away from it, right? So he basically was his career average, right? Again, how many of these players would you take over LeBron James? Even at age 41. I'm not talking about building a franchise long term. I'm talking about today. Who would you take over? Right? I'm not taking Devin Booker, Jaylen Brown, Paolo Banchero, Evan Mobley, Pascal Siakam, Karl Anthony Towns. There's at least 6 guys minimum I would not take over LeBron James right now. Right? So that would bare minimum put him at 13th. Then you have guys like Anthony Davis, right? I would have LeBron over Anthony Davis because LeBron James and Anthony Davis just played together, and LeBron James was the better player. He was. Yes, on some nights or many nights, whatever you want to argue, Anthony Davis was better. But as Laker fans, what was one of the big things that was so incredibly frustrating? Anthony Davis fully taking the reins. How many times do we have to see LeBron James put the cape on a nightly basis and have to be the best guy and go give you 30 just to have a chance? Right? Again, LeBron James, and look, I'm not, I've criticized LeBron the last few years. I've gotten, about people look, I'm on record. I'm sure all of you know, I'm on record saying that I believe LeBron James is the greatest player ever. But I'm not like one of those like, like crazy LeBron stans, right? Like I criticize LeBron all the time. I'm very critical of LeBron because I believe you should be. If I have you as considered the greatest player ever, you should be more criticized than anybody because I hold you to that standard. So when you don't live up to that standard, then you deserve to be criticized for it. So I'm very critical of LeBron James, right? But it's fair criticism. This I think is ridiculous. This I feel like is headlines, right? Again, get to the top 5, SGA, Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Luka Doncic, Anthony Edwards. Those are the top 5, right? I won't even argue the order. Fine. You want to say Luka's 4th. He's always, every year he's in that like 3-4 range. I think after this year, he'll be number 1. I think he's going to have an MVP level season. I think he's going to be ridiculous. But sure, you want to stick with those top 5? Fine. But okay, now let's get in the other 10, right? If you had, Jalen Brunson, okay, Jalen Brunson, what he's done for the Knicks has been really good, right? He's been incredible. His team is pretty stacked. He hasn't been able to get over the hump yet, right? But, we'll see. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, right? It's also the Eastern Conference, so you got to keep that in mind, right? Where LeBron's going up in the stacked West, right? Like, what are the Knicks in the Western Conference? Are they, so for example, last year, the Knicks would have been, if you translate, they would have been basically middle of the pack in the Western Conference, right? Based on their record against winning teams, 500 teams, they actually wouldn't even been a play-in team. They were terrible, right? But, you saw what they did in the playoffs. But, okay, Jalen Brunson, you want to say is 6th? All right, fine. Donovan Mitchell, what has Donovan Mitchell done? Like Donovan Mitchell, don't get me wrong. If you want to be a top seed in the NBA, Donovan Mitchell's your guy, right? Because Donovan Mitchell was, the 1 seed on many seasons with Utah, was the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. So he's shown in either conference he's a guy that can lead you to the 1 seed. But again, what has he done beyond that? Outside of underwhelm and lose in the first or second round. Right? I'm not taking him over LeBron. And even then, go look at LeBron's numbers against some of these guys. Right? Like Cade Cunningham. I actually really like Cade Cunningham. I would actually put Cade Cunningham over Donovan Mitchell. I just think he's, what he's doing. He's really starting to come into his own. I think Cade Cunningham is real nice. Victor Wembanyama, okay. Victor Wembanyama is, I think you could argue, a top 10 player. I personally had him in the 12 rate, top 12 range. Because again, he's not there yet. I believe there's a certain level of proof that you need, right, to be a top 10 player, right? There's a certain level, Victor Wembanyama is probably the best defense player in all of basketball. He's probably going to win defense player of the year every year until they get fatigue. But there's a lot of things that we still need to see from Victor Wembanyama, right? 2 years, his first season, Spurs were just as bad. Last season, they go get De'Aaron Fox. They still missed the play, and Victor Wembanyama goes down. It's just, again, there's things that I want to see, right? You have guys Cooper Flag. Some of these things will have Cooper Flag at 20th or whatever. It's what are we talking? The guy hasn't even played a game yet. Let's wait and see, right? I think Barrowman, Jalen Williams, is really coming to his own. I think he's another guy that has superstar potential. But Steph Curry, again, go look up LeBron and Steph's numbers. I don't know how people look at Steph. I understand Steph is dynamic and the shooting and all that. But LeBron is better. He is. He's better all around. He's better at everything. Better defensive player. Even though he doesn't buy in defensively all the time. But LeBron James is one of the best engines in all of basketball, right? Still to this day, right? If you wanted to say he's, 12th, again, I'd probably disagree with that, but I would have been okay, it's a little more fair, right? I think he's in that 7 to 10 range. I've talked about this, right? I've talked where I think LeBron at this stage of his career is in that 7 to 10 range. If you want to say he's 10th, won't really push back too much. If you want to say he's, 6th, sure, probably would have put, there's probably 6 guys I'd probably have over him. I think he's in that 7 to 10 range, personally. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.